So like I said, for me, there was a perspective shift
Yeah.
because I just thought it's like, look, me and my co-founder, it's like, look, you're investing in two smart people who have a product with some traction. Like this is a slam dunk. Like I just expected that when we went out to raise, just because we checked the box, YC check, somebody who's done a startup before and who has a computer science degree check. I thought we checked enough boxes that we'd be able to like go raise a million or two and it wouldn't be that hard, right? Like that was
Right.
my calibration.
Right.
And now I've recalibrated to be like, okay, well, it's definitely doable. And the fact, right, like it's doable with hard work. And the fact that it's doable is already incredible because, like, look, $1 million is a lot of money.
Yep.
So it's not like impossible, but I've recalibrated to be like, it's not easy either.
Yep.
So like when we first went out for fundraising post YC, we ended up scrapping together. It took us like 3 months to get to like 500K, which doesn't sound too bad. It's like, okay, that's like respectable, I guess, for like a couple months old company. But also I had an advantage, which is a couple acquaintances, people that I've known in the past, like Jan Tallinn, the first employee of Skype, and Alex from Funders Club, like these people who are like pretty big investors, happened to know me and saw that I was pitching on demo day. And so we reconnected. And so that's already like a huge leg up in the fundraising process
Right.
because getting a stranger to give you money is so much harder than getting somebody that you have any relationship with. And it's funny because I'm not like a networking guy. Like I suck at networking. And yet it was my network that came through with like those first two checks. I joke, it's like, okay, this is tapping into my white privilege basically of why we're able to jumpstart the fundraising round.
Interesting. By the way, I love shout out to Alex and Boris. Yeah, they were investors in our company too. They're awesome guys.
For sure, yeah.
So
Definitely one of the highest quality investors you can get.
100%. That's awesome. It's very interesting to, yeah, I see what you're saying, and I never thought about this either. Like this concept of like how so many people are not raising. Actually, I had an episode with Kwame. He started a company called Mental Happy, and he said the same thing. I never really picked up on it because he never like went this deep. But what you're saying that because they only raised about a couple of $100,000, and for me, I don't know why, I don't know where this comes from either, but I've always heard like usually most of the people will raise at least 500,000 to 1 million when they come out of YC for some reason, and I don't
It's
really
like that macho. It's kind of like, yeah, that's right. I did YC. Like, yeah, everybody tries to play it cool, right?
right.
Like, and you kind of when you think of a YC company, it's at least this is my mental image. It's somebody who's like acts cool in the whole batch, plays hard to get with investors, and walks away with like at least $1 million. Like you got to get into the seven figures after you're done YC.
Yeah.
And if you haven't done that, it's like you failed YC. That's kind of like my mental image.
Yeah. Makes sense. But I think it's also good if it's the way it is, right? Because it makes you kind of do the hard work. You're not getting like, it's not like, hey, I just got in, so I should receive the money because it's owed to me in that sense. Like you actually have to go out and do the work and show value.
Totally, yeah. And don't get me wrong, I think that like objectively, is it easy or hard to raise capital? I think it's like a good level. Like I think it's easy enough to raise capital if you have a good pitch. But the original point that I was making is, well, look, where's the value out of YC? It's definitely there, right? The fact that I got to be on demo day, like we did raise money from one or two complete strangers, which, like I said, is like doing the impossible. Like meeting a stranger with an early stage company and getting a check from the stranger, it's freaking hard. Like compared to having a relationship where they believe in you. If you don't highly believe in the founder, right, and you're giving them a check, it's like, okay, well, you better really love the idea and hope that they don't pivot and they work on it like nonstop for years. Like you're taking a big risk.
I would also. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, so we did get one or two strangers. We got a 100K check, which later became like 350K from Jonathan Ehrlich and Foundation Capital. So he was one of the people who I didn't have an existing relationship with, who took a gamble on us, which I appreciate. But I feel like there was an element of luck. Like we could easily, we met one or two strangers like that who ended up taking the plunge. That number, we talked to like 50 investors. So like 1 out of 50, it could have easily been 0 out of 50. And then I would have felt like a total failure. Whereas now I feel like, a moderate success, but it's like luck.
Makes sense. I actually will add one more point. I think the safes is also pretty cool. Like being from Canada, like, man, I have some friends who went out and raised investment, and like for a small amount, like the legal paperwork they have to go through and all the drama they have to go through, I'm like, wow. And the safes make it so much easier. I am a big fan.
Safes are great. I mean, the whole idea, they completely take an axe to the idea that you need to like raise a funding round. It's just like, look, you want to put money in, like, go ahead. Here's like a valuation cap, and you can give me this much. Like, and you don't expect to get anything back for 10 years. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, that makes sense too, though, right? If you're getting $300,000 or $400,000, I'm either gonna like die trying, or I'm gonna like blow that money. I'm not giving you a 400K back, like, you know what I mean? So I don't need, like, a safe makes so much more sense, because if we are gonna be growing, we're gonna be raising a Series A. Simple as that, and you'll get your equity.
Yeah, And when you give the value prop pitch for what a safe does, I mean, the next best alternative before the safe was created was either a price round, which is like, okay, now you have to give away a freaking board seat. You have to take a lot of money, right? You have to take enough to be good for like a couple of years. And then the other alternative was a convertible note.
Yep.
I would say it's a safe is closer to a convertible note, but it's ridiculous that you have to like start paying interest or you have to like pay back the balance. It's like, who are we kidding? That wasn't the idea, right? It's just like a random technicality.
Makes complete sense.